Greetings, you've landed at the VUC, IP Communications and VoIP community. We would like to thank Simwood.com for their support. Simwood can turn you as a developer into a telco. Our hosted PBX is from onsip.com, and you can go to getonsip.com for a URL people can click to call you. We've been privileged over the last 5 years to be using the best conference bridge on the planet. Yes, I'm talking about zipdx.com, full color, full featured, full HD conference bridge. Our website, vuc.me on the webs, hosted by bluehost.com. And our worldwide local rate dial-ins are from voxbone.com. Hey everybody, VUC 544, we're going to be talking about HOMER with the SIP capture folks, and we're going to talk about SIP capture, but before we do that, Michael is going to show me some reminders of what I have to say about events. And next week, it's going to be TADHack in Lisbon, 13th, 14th June. We're going to do a VUC, whatever the day is before the 13th. I think it might be the 12th. Possibly. That would be Friday, VUC time. Hopefully we'll have that together. If not, Michael will ad-lib for an hour, and I'm not sure what he will do. Next event, so TADHack is fantastic, but the next event will be, is that right? ClueCon. Wow, we have to wait all the way into August 3rd to 6th, ClueCon. I've never been there, so I can't sing the praises of ClueCon, but a lot of people do go and enjoy it. And next up, Astracon, which, of course, I have been to many times. This is a great, great time, and a lot of our usual suspects from the VUC will be there. October 13th to 15th, Orlando, Florida, in which is in the complex of, what's it called, Universal Studios. So bring the kids, bring the wife, bring the mistress. Just make sure that none of them meet. Okay? Let's... All right, I'm going to move to myself just so you can see that I am resplendent in my Matrix t-shirt. Instead of wearing the Wired t-shirt, I'm wearing the Matrix t-shirt. We're going to go to the film strip and show that we actually have other people who are going to talk besides me. Michael Graves is co-producing with me. In fact, he did all the heavy lifting in the beginning. We have Lorenzo with us. Lorenzo, I'm going to guess. Okay, Mangiani or Mangani? Tell me. Mangani.
The missing one, yeah.
Okay. Well, then we'll move right to Celeste, who has, for some reason, the same name. What a coincidence.
What a coincidence,
yes.
Right?
Welcome, Celeste. It was great to meet you at Kana EDO World. And
it was a pleasure also for me to meet you all.
Thank you for coming. And, of course, Alexander, who is here. We also met at Kana EDO World. Great to hear from you. Lorenzo, I'm going to throw the ball to you right away, and as we agreed, or as I mentioned to you, we like to ask people about how they got into tech and how they got into VoIP and SIP and all the rest. If you want to mention any of your inspirations, that would be great. If you would then maybe ask the other two, even though you already know the answers, and let them explain how they got into tech. It's always interesting to see how people get into it. I was a kid, I was a geek interested in tech, and I got into it that way. What's your story?
Well, first of all, I'm a sound engineer, so that's where I come from. That's been my activity for the longest time. And at some point, for a number of reasons, I started working with the other side of voice. And it was just pulling together everything that I liked. So for me, basically, it was a super revamp of my old programming skills, my audio skills, and I merged them all into voice about maybe 8-9 years ago. I started getting serious about it. And I was lucky enough to find a few network, which basically were my incubator, where I had to do my job, but I was also free enough to be creative. And at some point along the way, Alexander came into my universe. So actually, that's when I discovered HOMER, that things got really, really serious for me. So I think it was now probably 4 or 5 years ago, in a very hot August. That time, I discovered Alexander's project, and it was still, I think, the very early release, or maybe even the first day that it was published. and I jumped right on it, and I tortured him until he let me join forces. From there on, yeah, our team more or less came together, and that's pretty much the picture for me. I think Alexander's one will be more interesting, so I'll throw the ball at him.
Yeah, okay, but normally the HOMER was exactly development for make our engine. Okay, first I would like to say what I'm voice engineer, and of course it was a lot of trouble to do some troubleshooting and so on, and we use ngrep, Wireshark, and so on, but usually usual tools. And it was yeah, sometimes we was just discover what we need to save all messages to database. And it was ngrep application which wrote all messages to database, but it was a first small step. The second exactly was some web interface for HOMER project. This was not HOMER yet. And after I have present this project on ClueCon, and Lorenzo Mangani joined later, and we growing this project together. And here we are. We have currently HOMER 5, like beta release, and yeah, we are very proud what everybody use HOMER, and we're very happy what it's helped a lot all engineers to join to make or find solutions and solve a big problem. Lorenzo, can you say something more?
Sure, we have 1 hour. I can say a lot of stuff.
You can, but I want to clear something up first. You say voice engineer. I think you said. Did you say voice engineer?
Yeah, voice engineer. Yeah, I'm voice engineer.
So both of you voice engineers, but meaning in VoIP, or because after all, I'm a musician, Celeste is an artist, right? So when you say voice engineer, you're not talking about somebody who records the voice.
Okay, voice engineer. I'm talking about voice because it was before SIP and H323. I came from SS7, number 7. Okay, okay, let's say old PBX is then and so on, which in Germany was very, very popular. And after we migrated from SS7 to SIP, and now I still calling it voice engineer, not voice therapy, because it's a little bit bigger than just voice. I think it's for Lorenzo it was the same.
Well, for me, I'm even worse because I break the rule. I'm a sound engineer and a voice engineer. So for me, it's both, and that's how I'll confuse the answer.
Okay, so maybe you and I can do an album soon because I would like to have a sound engineer. Let's hear from Celeste. How did you get into all this? I know.
For me, I'm the last one in the team coming in, and basically, if I do well my job, you will not see me. That's what basically I do. And yeah, I just take care of the guys and make sure that all the budgets that we have is not completely gone before we need it.
I think that's really important.
And as a background, I have web development background, so that's why I enter in the technology board.
Perfect. So let's get to how this all got started. And as a matter of fact, I saw somebody yelling at you on Twitter about HOMER 5. I assume that's a version thing. So
yes.
Where are we in the HOMER project? Because that's kind of what we're talking about today.
Yeah, absolutely. So we in Camellia work, where we were all together just days ago, we released version 5 of HOMER. HOMER, as we said, just a little bit of a background information here, is our foremost project, and the most popular one. Is not the only one that we have, and we'll mention some maybe during the conference today. But yeah, HOMER is our flagship product, and it's basically an application which allows us to do our job easier. That's the first reason and the first motive behind it. But basically, what it does, it's just a system and a series of sub-applications which allow a network to just pull all of their messages, all of their signaling together in one location, access it very quickly, so you can, instead of running tools left and right, you can just go into a nice web user interface, type the A, B number, or whatever you want, and hopefully you find the call. So somebody might find their call to this conference today, and so on. And we just try to make life easier for those that do the same job that we do, basically. Homer 5 is the fruit of a lot of work and actually comes after Homer 3. So in between there is also a dead version, just to give you a sense of how much time we dedicate. We even throw away entire releases if we're not happy with them or if they have anything that could limit the users. So we skip to 5, and we spent a whole lot of time trying to make this release more developer friendly. So we know that more or less Homer can get the job done for those that use it, but it wasn't the same for those that wanted to extend it or make it better. So a lot of people that were trying really to come into the project and give us a hand were stuck into entering our minds in order to make a change. So we had a little bit of our own world. With version 5, we migrated to what we believe to be more standard practices. Hopefully it will help people come and help us make it better. Our team is not really huge, but we have a lot of contributors, mostly coming from those projects that we also have HEP support for. And yeah, that's our simple and nice website. We do have all of our material on GitHub, so that's where we moved also recently all of our projects, which include HOMER, Capt Agent, which is the capture agent dedicated to the function of HOMER, which uses the HEP encapsulation protocol, also a product of Alexander's mind and genius. We also have zipgrep, which is a command line tool to more or less do the same job, and various grades and bits and pieces that hopefully will help people work with our protocol and our application better.
I have a question. Who is this actually aimed at? Because this already goes a little bit over my head. I think I know what it is and what it does, but I'm trying to picture maybe, and we'll bring James in a minute because I think he would be a pretty good person to comment here, but maybe ask a few questions even. But the audience for this is obviously some kind of heavily technical professionals.
Yeah, it's mostly.
Go ahead.
Mostly operators of various sizes, so anywhere from 10 customers to hundreds of thousands are the target for this type of application. So it's for somebody that has a permanent job or revenue, depending on the quality and the monitoring of their traffic. But it ranges a lot. We also have a lot of people that are running on a very small scale for very specific purposes, and those are actually our favorites. But on the other hand, we really have very large carriers which are using Homer. They make us proud, but secretly.
No one wants names mentioned, so I'm not even asking, obviously.
I wish I could, but there's a bunch of them, and hopefully with the new version we'll convince them also to come forward and let the world know. But many of them are really competitors. They don't like to suggest each other what how to do things best.
That makes sense.
We use Homer, and it's extremely useful. One of the biggest problems we have as an operator when trying to debug things is that the signaling paths sometimes can be quite complex, and you've got signaling going all over the place. And one of the great advantages of Homer and SIP capture is that you can set it up to capture views of data from multiple places and fling all those filtered captures back into a central point where you can analyze and see the complete picture. And there are very few tools around these days that actually do that, and those that are around tend to cost, well, millions of dollars to buy. And Homer just does all of that, and it's open source as well. It is absolutely awesome. So sorry, I stole your thunder there, Lorenzo.
Thank you, James. I'm going to use this. It's a better introduction than mine, for sure.
Yeah, one of the problems is that when you're working so close to this, you find it difficult to explain the beauty and the simplicity of what you're doing, because underneath the surface, you're like a duck. You're above the surface, it looks beautiful. Below the surface, you've got all this stuff going on very, very quickly. And lots of very complicated things going on. But you make it look very simple. In fact, Alexander makes it look very simple, because I'm guessing that one of the key parts of this is the collection part, and in particular the HEP. What does HEP stand for? I've forgotten now.
Okay, it's HEP. It's Homer Encapsulation Protocol. It's
Of course it is, yes.
yeah. Okay, it was first version. It was just copy of IPNP encapsulation protocol. You just a little bit extend. And second version, it was exactly extension of extension, included timestamp of capturing time. And after we with Ron Henrys, my colleague, we developed HEP3 version. It's very flexible protocol, and you can use not only for SIP but for any encapsulation. Also RTP, RTCP, diameter, SS7 encapsulation as well, and so on. And
yeah, well, that is a question there I wanted to ask you. I mean, are other people out there already using HOMER to capture SS7 and, looking forwards, diameter? Because if they are, I mean, that potentially is extremely exciting.
yeah, but you can use it. It's not too complicated. Okay, in new version CaptAgent 6, we will provide dynamic capturing plan. What you can define by self which capturing scenario you would like to do, and how to you would like to encapsulate the capturing data, or in JSON format, or in a raw format, and send to Elasticsearch. You can also use, or directly.
Maybe I can help you here just by describing how it was until the last version. So our tools are flexible by definition, but of course in the configuration part there's always changes that are not necessarily easy to be applied. So in the previous version of CaptAgent, we had sort of a static approach. So you would have a probe somewhere on your network which would take specific traffic and just send it to Homer. In the new version, we basically provide a radio switch point at the capture agent level, when you can make decisions as of where you're going to send this traffic and how. As Alexander mentioned, we added the JSON formula, which we think is going to be very useful on many fronts. So we have our own HEP encapsulation, but we don't prevent people from using our tools in different ways. And this is what exactly some of our integrators are doing. So they extend the protocol and the functionality to their own likes, not necessarily pushing it back to the public. But this is not the point, of course, of our technology. So we give everybody the freedom. Of course, we like those that give back to the community, and we have many. But there are cases where customers or users, I should say, actually extended the protocol for their own purposes in mysterious ways. And we're happy because it means that it does exactly what we wanted to do.
Yeah, if I remember, 1 year ago, one of our users has created HEP proxy, which exactly do this encapsulation of all packages in HTTP and send all HTTP packages in HEP. And he was very happy because it's solved a lot of problem in their network. So
HEP's like happy.
Yeah, happy. And of course, we should to finish our draft and to be ready to make some RFC for HEP, because everybody use it and everybody asks for good documentation. It's already exists, but we will be very proud and very happy if it will be standard, because de facto it's already standard in all open source projects, but the Euro it should be also standard.
One of our missions for this year.
Yeah.
So Lorenzo, I know we didn't mention this earlier, but you wouldn't happen to have a live demo waiting in the wings that you can show us, would you?
I think Alexander's screen might at any time switch to a display of the newer version of HOMER, and maybe show some tricks.
We haven't seen yet, because we saw some screenshots at Camera Elia World, but we didn't see it live in action, did we?
Well, you saw it during the Dangerous demo for just
of course we did, yes.
58 seconds, which is not a lot of time. So today we can show a little bit more of how it actually looks when it's in use.
Yeah, and during the Dangerous demos, I was full of adrenaline. I wasn't really watching what's going on. Which reminds me, Alexander and Lorenzo and Celeste did some excellent videos, some excellent material at Camera Elia World, which was videoed in very high quality, and that's available to download from YouTube. And some of it is extremely good. I mean, the first one, the primer in diagnostic of SIP networks is particularly useful. And how Lorenzo managed to get so much information into a 1-hour slot was absolutely amazing. The slides on their own, you could make a book about SIP diagnostics from that. And I learned stuff. I thought I'd used all the tools, but I found out I hadn't, and there's a whole load of stuff that I don't know. So thank you for that, Lorenzo. And I can highly recommend it. In fact, we'll have to find some links and post them on the feed so that people can go and download those. So,
and for your information, that was part 1. So we have 2 more which go in stages of being advanced. That was the basic one, and we have 2 more programs that we do provide. So if anybody's interested in getting further, that's one of the things that we have managed to put together this year. So we'll be able to share our knowledge via those trainings, hopefully share with companies this time, not just the community, and make the project even better by providing, let's say, a better backing for it.
Yeah, and what comes out in the videos is firstly the depth of knowledge, but also the enthusiasm and energy of both Alexander and Lorenzo with all this knowledge that they want to share with everybody. It's absolutely wonderful. Anyway, come on, let's go and do this demo, shall we?
Well, here we go. So, Alex, maybe you can show around, and here and there I'll jump in to say stuff.
Okay, just so you know, we are focused on Alex's screen. It looks fine, so we're all ready to go, Alex. We're on you.
Okay, it's dashboard. Okay, first you can create any dashboard and put a lot of widgets on this dashboard, and also you can create dashboard by itself. It's very easy. Lorenzo, you can just explain.
In the previous Homer, everything was static, so we had decided up front what we thought people would need, and it was working for let's say 90% of users, but then those 10% were representing the most interesting ones. So we sort of freed the way Homer is composed. Today is, I mean, it's really a generic framework where in the future will extend. So today you see here it says SIP search. There will be more protocols and more integrations as far as having data. Of course, it will be in the voice realm, but we plan on extending it. Already today, Homer can take logs, CDRs, and we'll build tools to bring all of those up. And Homer 5 is really the foundation to make this job easier. So everything is a widget, and everything can be customized. In this case, we're looking at the search form. So the search form before was just fixed. You could open and close a couple of blocks, but you couldn't really decide which item was where. And this is the first thing actually that we did. So the first widget that we created is this quick search, and you can just assemble whatever you want to have, and you can make different dashboards for different kind of people. So maybe you have level 1, level 2 support. They don't really need to be using the same interface all the time. So you might have level 1 just having the from and to field. They probably cannot use anything else, and they can just put the case together and then escalate it. And the next guy, of course, might need more. So we made it scalable in the way that you can build your tool for your own engineering departments. And here Alexander is showing a window where you can actually select which kind of widgets. The categories are really 2. So one is active widgets, which includes the quick search form and a couple more things. So parts of the application which actually do something, and much more is about widgets that display something. So there is a very vast variety right now, which probably will be reduced as we go and develop with external contributors. We'll try to put it together more tight and tidy. But today there's a bunch of widgets which you can use to access, of course, Homer itself. Here, for instance, is the alarms and the administration of the internals of Homer. This is also dynamic, so in Kamailio's configuration, in Homer's configuration, a user, a network can define what, for instance, is an alarm. So in James' case, maybe he wants to monitor attacks against his network. So when a source starts sending a huge amount of traffic which is failing, he would like an alarm to be raised to his NOC. And this is exactly what Homer can do, for instance. So you can define thresholds, parameters that you want to be looking at, and how you collect them. So you can completely design your own solution. You're not bound to what we think is best, but you can really tune it to your own likes. You can be looking just at specific methods, calls, registrations, and when it all comes together, it pops up here on the screen. Big red line, something that you defined, a condition that you defined was triggered, and you can see the details of this condition and further investigate what happened. This is a very good example of something that in HOMER 3 was possible, but very much reduced in the range of customization. This is what I think is a good, interesting example, and forgive here if some of the charts will have no data at points, but of course everything is dynamic. This is a dev system. What we see here is queries to HOMER itself on the right. So we're looking at packet count over a period of time, how many messages were hitting the system at a certain point. Just below on the bottom right, we see the method distribution. So we can see here that option messages are keeping our network busy, and register is the second driver. No calls or very few calls. And on the left bottom side, we see something that is brand new for HOMER 5, which is queries to an external data source. In this case, it's InfluxDB. So before, in HOMER, you could really only see what HOMER knew. And right now, with the new version, you can also look at what other systems on your network know. So you might have log collectors or other systems, whatever you have, monitoring maybe the memory, the status of your servers, not the service, and you want to merge them together. So you have an outage, you want to quickly have a chance to see if it's due to an external factor, or maybe if a couple of your servers just died. And this is what those external plugs do. So you can look at different data sources and make sense of them. Once again, this might sound very abstract, but it's exactly how we want it to be. So we want to just give people a canvas where they could build and tailor their own solution. Because now networks are really alike, and the more we try to make it generic, the less it was effective. Here Alexander is showing how easy it is to change the chart types to ones like. So that's really what it does. The empty plugins, they're my fault. So I was too busy today, and I didn't push data into our Elasticsearch test cluster. But that's what I would display. So additional charts using Elasticsearch as a data feed. This makes it extremely exciting because Elasticsearch has a lot of traction. So there's a bunch of people which are developing solutions based on Elasticsearch. And yeah, although today maybe it's not really big for voice, now we give it a chance to be. So we had also a lot of questions which are Elasticsearch related at HOMER Award, which suggests that we didn't make a mistake. So aggregation, queries, and all of that beauty is now possible also for voice. And as we said before, this is just an addendum. Capt agent can also output JSON data. So if somebody was willing to just really build their own solution, you could take Capt agent, set JSON as output, put everything, signaling included, into Elasticsearch, and build your own voice monitoring system. So that's how free we made it. Of course, if you use HOMER, you get our support, so life hopefully gets a little bit easier.
Okay, can I test you now, see how good you are? We've been, up to now, we've been looking at macro views, which is great from a kind of a network operations point of view, but let's have a go at drilling down and see whether we can find an individual call and drill right down into that and see what detail and goodness we can pull out of that. So,
Yep.
I don't know what you've got in your database. So
well, we have some test traffic. So Alexander maybe can give us an overview here, as he will be driving the mouse. It's going to be easier.
Okay, I can make a new call if you want to.
Or even better,
let's show it in real time.
How about if I call?
Okay,
and then you tell me about what I'm calling from. Is that suitably dangerous?
Okay.
Or in fact, it's so dangerous, I've just realised it might be a little bit too dangerous from where I am. So what if Andy gives you a call from where he is, and then you tell Andy what he's calling from and what the capabilities of the user agent that he's...
Can you make a call or forward call to Batover?
Yeah, well, tell us where to call. In fact, as this is the VUC, if you tell us, then probably you'll get about 20 calls. Or
let's do this. Let's do this. Alexander is going to show us now, let's say, a sample flow, so how it works, and in the background, I'm going to try to make this happen.
Because now currently we have only in web, which in our DMZ zone, and nobody can make incoming call. Only.
Okay.
We still have to call. We'll make it happen. Just give us.
Yeah, just give us SIP URI.
Okay. I will show exactly one demo what I showed on Dangerous on Camera What for Dangerous demo. Let's make Dangerous demo here and make on the last 10 minutes and make a refresh. And now I'm calling to Polycom device, which will send each 5-second RTCP XR report, and we will see. Wait 1 second. It's take time.
Show us the call as well, because that's just as interesting.
So I called, it's answered, and we are waiting for our statistic, which will be in real time. It should.
Yeah, one of the things that you introduced last year actually is this real-time calculation of the MOS mean opinion score.
So as you see, we have packet loss, we have delay, we have MOS, which calculated by Polycom device, we have jitter buffer, and it's all parameters in real time. So
okay, can we drill down to find out what codec is in there? I'm guessing it's just under 4, so it's probably what's 611, isn't it?
Yeah. And okay, we can make disconnect. We disconnected.
Yeah, what I really want to do is to dial into your system from.
Yeah, okay, I understood. But hopefully Lorenzo will prepare one incoming number and we can do it.
Or you can call out to us actually. I mean that would do just as well.
And now we make a search for last 10 minutes call. Here you are. And we can click on call. We have call flow. And here we should see all TCP XR reports. You can click on each report and we will see this time interval was MOS 3.8, remote IP address, local address, packet lost, delay, and so on and so on.
Can we have a look at the STP of that call as well?
Yeah.
The call setup.
And so here you have call flow.
Yes.
It's generated by Canvas. It's no more PHP GD library on the server. It's generated automatically in your browser. You can click, of course, on each method, invite, and you see all information here, also in color. And, of course, parsed details for each parameter. Which type transaction is it, and so on and so on. Updates.
So if I dial that SIP your URI, will your phone ring?
Yeah.
Well, I missed it because you closed your STB window down. Yeah, you're far too wise for this, Alexander. You know what's good.
We can pause it on the live video.
Yeah. Sure.
Did you get it, Andy? Did you get Alexander's URI?
Yeah.
Okay, well, go on.
So, and also you can make what it's nice feature in HOMER 5. We can create a share link. So, if, for example, if you would like to send some information to your customer, you can just generate a share link and send to this customer.
Okay, well, you mean that's doing all the stuff that CloudShark does as well?
Sorry?
So we've been using CloudShark to do the sharing
Yeah, but it's science HOMER 3.5 or HOMER 3.
Historical, no, this is a historical notion. We were the first application to integrate with CloudShark when they launched. So we are the first application to integrate their API was HOMER.
Yeah, but you're saying with the HOMER 5, perhaps you don't need the CloudShark.
Yes, okay, normally not. But if customer would like to save some data in CloudShark, why not? We gave all possibility which customer can use.
But yeah, effectively today, if you're only doing SIP, you really don't have a good reason to use CloudShark in HOMER 5.
And see, here you see, I just opened the link, and I have the same information what I seen before in HOMER 5, and user can also click and see also information about this call.
That's pretty good. So you can switch between the call flow and drill down into the RPCP, or go back into the logs. So all the things that you want to do, they're accessible on tabs. Or was that a chat window we saw there?
Yeah.
Is that built into HOMER 5 as well?
1 second. It's.
Is there anything that HOMER 5 doesn't do?
Lorenzo?
Lorenzo, you are muted.
Yeah, sorry, I'm trying to set up a number that you can call to make a quick test.
All right. This is VC does dangerous demo. Just for the list, this was something that was definitely not arranged beforehand. Lorenzo had no idea this was going to happen. So this is how to test how good our people are. And if you can rise to the challenge, and we build something live on there, it's pretty good. It might even work. So Andy, you need to be standing by, ready to make a call with the mystery user agent. And I'm thinking of the one that was that one, Andy.
I'm ready. I've just had a timeout on what I hoped was the right SIP address.
Right. And for those of you who are watching the video, the reason that Alexander is red is because it's very hot in Germany today and very sunny. It's not because he's under huge amounts of stress and strain doing a dangerous demo. And Alexander, you're muted.
I had to mute him because there was a lot of echo coming in. I wanted to mention, too, that I was having some terrible problems, and I hope that didn't affect the Hangout. I'm not really sure what happened, but I was frozen for quite a while, like 5 minutes. And it's 31 degrees Celsius here, so there's no reason for me to be frozen, but I was. Well, maybe
you're frozen.
You didn't see anything. Yeah.
Well, you sorted it. You know what the answer is, Randy?
What?
Let it go. Let it go.
Let it go. Let it go. Okay. Here we are. Oh, I really need to shave, don't I? Okay. So where are we on this thing? Because I missed half of it, I think. Are we ready? Or did we do it already? Did it happen?
Well, we went through some of the features, and I threw in some difficult questions. And on the fly, we decided that we're going to configure the test setup here so that Andy can dial into Lorenzo's system, VoIP system, with a mystery user agent of which nobody knows anything. And then Alexander's going to tell us all about the mystery user agent, what it is and what its capabilities are.
Okay, so that has not happened
yet. Send me a G-Talk message, Andy. I think I'm ready.
Okay, so Lorenzo, you just need to have to pass the secret URI to Andy. Probably not say it publicly because as this is the VUC, if you did say it publicly, then you'd have about
that would be a problem.
Calls immediately.
Yeah, just send me as a Google Plus type link.
That's good. That's no problem. See you later.
And we love to do this because this is
dangerous time.
This is dangerous, and it's real life. And this is how we show how good people are because
we put them on the spot. It's called going for broke.
Yeah, if Lorenzo was just a sales droid, then he would go, oh, sorry, I can't do that. It's not on my script. But
Yeah.
because Lorenzo and Alexander are gods of SIP capture, they can adapt and do anything, hopefully, very quickly.
Well, let's see if it works. I just shared.
Okay, Andy, have you got the URI?
Yeah.
I have the URI. I'm sending this out but using Bonjour, so there we go. We are now connected.
Okay, so Alexander, can you tell us what the mystery user agent is?
Yeah, sure. Let's wait for call.
Is the call going through, Andy?
It is connected this end, yes, and I have some music and somebody jabbering in a language I cannot understand in my ears.
That's Italian.
It's Italian. There you go.
And I'm guessing it's not a Grandstream GXP you're using, is it?
It's not. I've got a few things I could try. I just thought I'd start with this one.
Okay. I think I know what it is. It's the one that does Opus, doesn't it?
I've got 3 different clients that do Opus.
Okay. The one that does AMR wideband as well?
No, it's not that one. That's actually not plugged in at the moment.
Oh, right, okay. That's the one that I was looking for. Okay. So Alexander's not really sweating here. Has he found it? Is that the one?
I think it's this call, yeah?
That's the call.
So, what was IP address? Yeah, that's right.
It's your call, yeah?
Yeah, that's me.
So it's a little bit complicated scenario, but you see.
This is actually nice. I don't know what's
getting lots of echo from somewhere.
Yeah, it seems Alexander's. So what we're seeing here is actually the best of HOMER. So it's a multi-host, multi-session call. So what we see here is an external call from Andy to the external address of this test server that he has reached. And then you can see the inside of this server, so the load balancer talking to the proxy. And then the proxy decides to fork a second call to an external peer. So
I bet you did that deliberately, didn't you, Lorenzo, just to make it
was
really good.
absolutely by chance that it happened. So this is a pretty good scenario. I didn't collect anything else, but we could have seen also the RTCP statistics and so on. I just didn't want to have you guys waiting too long. But yeah, this is it. Real time enough.
And you're just about to share that. Oh, you're sharing it. So I can go in and have a look at that from here.
Yep.
Wow, it gets better and better. Come on. So I'm opening a web browser window to look at this trace so that I can go in as a completely remote user. Hey, the guys from CloudShark are going to really not like you for doing this.
We're friends. We'll keep it boys. Yeah, well, you're happy.
They charge money for this functionality, and you just open sourced it.
And I put it in IRC.
So everybody is now looking at the...
right. Because that's how we roll at the VUC.
So I can see my user agent in there. That's fine. It's quite correct.
I managed to open it 3 times. Oh, there we are. Yeah, I'm just drilling down into the SDP now. And Andy, TSIP999 at top secret place, and it's that one.
Yeah.
Whatever you do, don't blink. It's that one. So you know what? This works, and you're doing it on a Windows platform, which is very bold of you. You've managed not to blue screen yet.
Yeah.
Very good.
We even have a capture agent for Windows, which is incredibly in use at a couple of our customers.
Yeah, well, what can I say other than it works? Lorenzo and Alexander, you have managed to meet the JD dangerous.
Thank you.
You know what? We could have done that as a dangerous demo at Camera Elio World. It would have been even better than the one that you did.
Well, we wanted to space for other people to win something as well. I wasn't even there, so I can talk. I'm not going to say stuff.
Yeah, but to win Dangerous Down as a Camellia World, you probably have to have Celeste doing somersaults off the back of a drone as it flies into the back of the audience or something like that.
Yeah.
Matrix
We'll do
was
next
tough.
year.
Yeah.
Matrix
We'll
would be a tough
organize
act to
something
follow.
for next year, absolutely. Now that we know.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Anyway, right, I better shut up. Is there anything else you want to tell us about?
Oh, we need to call for questions. We need to find out if we forgot anything or if there's anything else we're going to talk about, the roadmap, things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can just give you a very brief answer because there's, I mean, this is kind of a switching point. So the next months and weeks will be dedicated from our side documenting everything that's new, make it easy to install. So we'll have packages for the major platforms. And then, of course, we'll be assisting everybody and all those brave ones that will start adopting it early. We already have quite a few, and we're very happy. And yeah, that's pretty much the roadmap. We also have other things on the side, but I don't want to spoil it too much. So as soon as HOMER 5 is stable, we'll have immediately something new to announce.
Right. Well, it's
Okay. I have some questions.
Andy.
I guess you were going to say that, Andy, but go ahead.
Well, I have a few questions, but some of them are perhaps more general. What databases are you supporting now? I mean, in the past, I know that most of it's been done using MySQL, but I believe you also, to an extent, supported Postgres, both of which, of course, are SQL-type databases, not flat databases. So, are there any flat databases you're also supporting now?
Alexander's.
If my microphone works?
Yes.
You hear me?
Yes.
Okay, now, because before it was echo, now it's gone. Okay, currently we support, of course, MySQL and Postgres as well. MariaDB, it's by default. And, okay, some of users don't like it. And, of course, they can use also Elasticsearch. It's very easy to use in JSON format, send all zip messages to Elasticsearch, store it, and we have 5. It's very easy make integration. But of course, we prefer to use MySQL because it's easy to deploy, it's easy to support, and it works very well. Because it's my nightmare, because on each conference I have the same question. Why MySQL is working so bad on my platform? Because if MySQL works bad, it will be the same for Elasticsearch or for non-SQL databases. So it's only problem how you configure and how you tuned your database and nothing more. Because I could not say name, but one of our user has billions records in database. It was 3 billion records in database in one table, and it works. It works very nice. So just make a proper configuration of MySQL. Use our we have ported some good tunes on some new good configs on our Wikipedia, on our wiki. You can just download it, install it, and of course you can ask us how the tune MySQL. And
because that's what we do best, to help our users. So maybe we're not the best at documenting, we're not the best at the interface, we're not the best at the specific parts, but we are really the best at supporting the field and our own application. So that's I think where we shine the most.
I have to back you up. I have to back you up there because I've been monitoring the HOMER mailing list for some considerable time, certainly better than a year now. And you always deal with all the queries, some a little less sympathetically than others, but at the same time, some of the users do ask some rather ridiculous questions.
You're right. I think it's brilliant when people ask stupid questions, and Alexander sorts it out with one sentence, and they never ask stupid questions ever again.
So what are the channels that people are going to look for these questions on, that are going to post their questions?
Yeah. We have a user and a developer mailing lists, which are reachable and published on our GitHub. So on the repository of HOMER, they're pointed. Yeah, that's where most of the activity goes on. And then we have our support@zipcapture.org address, which is where we receive all the inquiries from whoever has a problem.
So the one URL to know is sipcapture.org, right?
Correct. Capture.org is the base for HOMER, CaptAgent, SipGrep, and we try to keep it an easy switching point. But actually, where everything is at is our GitHub account. So the website is sort of just an optional entry to our projects on GitHub.
But there is a URL to the GitHub on the website.
Yes, that's github.org/sipcapture.
/sipcapture. Okay, that's easy enough to remember. Anybody have any questions on ZipDX or anywhere else where my voice is being heard? And hopefully not just my voice, but all voices. ZipDX?
Yeah, I have it.
Go.
I have a question. If this is actually connecting through, I haven't
yes.
used ZipDX for ages. So
yeah.
I missed chunks of this, so you may have already answered this. But how do you feel about the increasing levels of encryption? Is that going to hinder the ability to analyze and cross-reference streams in the way that I think you're doing?
Good question. For the most part, this is a big driver of why we keep a close integration with the leading platforms. So as long as you're using Kamailio, OpenSips, Asterisk, or FreeSwitch, for instance, we are able to capture at a point where the signaling is not encrypted. So we keep it simple on one side. On the other one, we are experimenting with several extensions of our tools to deal with this. It's not really what we hope will be the case. So passive monitoring of fully encrypted environments is not yet ready for production. We have some experiments running with a few of our partner customers, but it's far off from what we want to do. So in a way, we can do this already with media to a certain extent, make some calculations even when it's encrypted. Of course, we cannot decode it, but we can determine the quality of transmission nevertheless. But for pure signaling, that's a little bit far off.
Or of course, you can also always ask NSA, because NSA has everything. Yeah.
But even with even when you own and you manage the certificates, there are conditions where you are not able to decode in transit. So we are working on this. This is surely on our roadmap and a driver for innovation, but definitely not in the top 5 of the things that we'll deliver next.
I should like to correct that NSA has everything except last Monday. They don't have last Monday.
Okay, good for us.
I have a question too, which is where are your next appearances? People were able to see you at Kamailio World. I had that pleasure, and several of us here did. What are the next rendezvous points, especially in the events that we mentioned, which is obviously TADHack next week, but also ClueCon in August and AstraCon in August? Maybe other European things? Where are you? Any of you going to be any place that we should take note of?
We don't have anything scheduled at the moment, and unfortunately we had to make a choice between actually delivering HOMER 5 right now and supporting it and further participation. So in the next few months we'll basically be locked in the basement doing work. So we will sort of be lab rats, but it will be over soon, and then we'll participate again, basically everything that we can afford reaching. So we want to take HOMER further next year. Just for the next few months, our team is just too small. We can send Celeste, and this is the plan anyway, because it works best.
Send her to us, yeah. She can
so as we finalize this plan, we'll be hiding for the next few months. So the only things that we'll do are trainings, which take place here in Amsterdam. Basically, if anybody wants to see us in the short term, you can contact us at QXIP. And we'll receive you, but public events, nothing planned.
That's a good point, by the way. There's also QXIP. That's a .net, QXIP.net as well?
That's correct. QXIP.net is where we try to offer some of our services to, let's say, commercial entities that need something better than a donation or a handshake. So we have some support packages and some training packages that we provide to businesses that use HOMER and need to take it to the next step.
And you mentioned being chained in a basement. This is a kind of an off-the-wall reference, but if you have seen Allegro non troppo by any chance,
yeah,
you will know that it starts with the animator, the cartoonist, being chained in the basement, right? You remember? You're nodding, so you must know what I'm talking about.
Yes, I do, and that's how we feel. So yes, double yes.
Well, you kind of look like the guy too. Not really. Anyway, any other questions? Anything else? Any old business, new business? Anything else with regard to SIP capture, HOMER 5? The other thing that I forgot the name of. What is it? Tell me. The SIP. There's another module we're
zip grep.
Yes, that's one.
The HEP family.
The HEP family.
Yeah, SIP grep is awesome. I was using that. What?
That's amazing.
14 years ago. And still use it on a daily basis.
You used it when you were 12, James?
Yeah. Yes, don't be fooled by my boyish youthful looks.
When you had hair?
Yeah, I did have hair once upon a time.
Normally I can say it was my first application about capturing. It was a small Perl wrapper for ngrep, which makes some colorized output, and it was very, very popular. And by default, it's integrated in FreeSwitch, in there, in Kamailio. And of course, we have developed a new version, ZipGrep 2, which based on C.
Oh, and Asterisk as well?
Asterisk not, but I think Matthew will also put it into next version of Asterisk, because it's very popular.
Yes, yeah. Matt Jordan, if you're watching this, Asterisk.
It's waiting for ZipGrep.
Yeah, it needs it now, really.
Good point. Let's press on that. Well, okay. Well, I want to thank you, Lorenzo, Celeste, and Alexandra for joining us. You are fantastic guests. This is amazing stuff.
It is amazing stuff.
It is.
And it's open source as well. If you look at the commercial products that are out there, people spend millions of dollars on commercial products that do not as much as HOMER. So just if you've got a requirement, you need to get out and connect with this stuff. It is awesomely good.
Thank you very much for having us.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you for the invitation. Thank you.
It was a pleasure. Come back anytime. Tim is coming back. We're going to do our mature audiences version in just a second. After we shut down, we'll have a little music to thank our sponsors. Any of you who are here who have the time, you're welcome to stay. But in the meantime, we're going to hear from our sponsors, and then we're going to cut off the video to do the mature audiences version of the VUC.
When Michael presses the button.
Oh, except that, yeah, I got you. I didn't include this because it usually causes echo. Here we go. So, you got it live, folks. Hey, that was the bleeding edge of the IP communications and VoIP community. We're at VUC.me on the web. Thanks to Simwood.com, who can turn you as a developer into a telco. Our hosted PBX is provided by OnSIP.com. The site at VUC.me is on Bluehost.com. We use ZipDX.com for our wideband, full-featured conference bridge. And our local rate dial-ins are from Voxphone.com. Every Friday, 12 noon Eastern Time. See you next week.